still the bomb colored lotus. Hey, Rex, keep me up without Folgers. I'm up, I'ma hit him with the bucks. Hey, friend. Hey. I know I've been gone for a little minute, but it take a little second to get this IKEA furniture together. What do you think of the new spot? Hold on, one time. Hey, welcome to SlothTalk. It's your boy, Karma the Big Sloth. And since I've been gone for a couple of days trying to get the new studio together, I got a lot to talk about. And I'm here to yap. Okay, first let's start with WWE. Okay, so everybody should know by now, if you watch NXT, Thea Hail had a botch on Tuesday where she accidentally won the title. So that apparently messes up everybody's storylines. And so she's gonna defend the title in New Year's Evil, and obviously the title's gonna go back. Everything is right with the world. My thing is, give Thea a little run. I like Thea. You gave a run to what's her name? Nikki. Nikki from Uncle Howdy's faction. She had a title run. I like Thea. I like Thea's energy. Give Thea a little title run. I mean, it's what I think it's Intercontinental title. It's not, the heavyweight title. Let her walk around with it a little bit. See how it feels. I mean, what have you done? What have you done with her since Chase U? She has potential. Just keep the title on her for a little bit. I want to see what happens. I mean, no. So, the last time, the last episode, I talked a lot about, my affinity for the TV, right? That's why it's called Idiot Box Sloth. That's episode 3. If you haven't seen it yet, please watch it. And also, subscribe to the channel, bro. Subscribe to the channel, bro. Yeah, I'm new here, so anyway, I'm trying to get my followers up and stuff like that. Okay. Can you believe that supposedly there's no NXT call-ups? What? There's no NXT call-ups? The John Cena's last match, that whole event was fire. The whole event was fire. And what made it fire was the NXT talent mixing with the main roster talent. Sol Ruka versus Bailey, fire. Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes, fire. I think I said that before. I have mixed feelings about the call-up. Because when a call-up happens, I'm happy for that wrestler on a professional level, because that means they're coming up in the world, their paychecks get fatter. I'm never gonna, stop somebody from getting their money or whatever, but what happens is a good talent from NXT will go up to the main roster and disappear. Disappear or not be as effective. And for them to be popular in NXT and have that momentum and then move to the main roster and get buried, that's not a talent problem. That's a problem with storylines and creative backstage, right? I like what they're doing with Javon Evans. Javon Evans is NXT, but he's trickling into the main roster in a way where when he steps actually into the main roster, I feel like he can have an actual presence and be used properly. You guys know how I feel about people like Javon Evans and Obafemi. I like them a lot more than I like main roster talent. Speaking of main roster talent, bro, I hate to say this, dog, but the Uncle Howdy vignettes are boring. I mean, it was cool It was cool before they debuted the videos and stuff. But when Uncle Howdy actually goes out there, actually that's what I mean. When he goes out there and he talks to the fans, it's boring. Hello? That's why people keep saying what after you say something. It's boring. It's boring and it goes on for too long. And at this point, I really think people tolerate it because of their love for Bray. But it's boring. It's boring. When they wrestle, it's boring. And when they're on the mic, it's boring. It's boring. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for that, but that's just really how I feel. Number 2, I am so sick of the Kabuki Warriors. They are everywhere. You don't have another tag team? Where are the rest of them? I mean, the tag team division is hot right now. I'll give it. Especially the women's division. But you overuse the Kabuki Warriors. Now, when that thought originally crossed my mind, I said, well, Asuka has been out of action for so long. So she's just, she's been back for a little bit now, but she was gone for a very long time. And then she's coming back. So I understand, she needs to wrestle. I'm an Asuka fan. I am. I really, really am. But at this point, I would be more of a fan of a solo Asuka. Empress of Tomorrow, that kind of feel. The Kabuki Warriors thing is not it for me. But then if I say, okay, if they break up the Kabuki Warriors, what are they going to do with Kairi Sane? I like Kairi Sane, but Kairi Sane gives supporting character energy. You know what just occurred to me on the fly? What if they put Kairi Sane with somebody who's also with a supporting character energy. And I just lost my train of thought about who I was speaking about, but who also has supporting character energy is Tozawa. He has supporting character energy. So I feel like if you put her with somebody what about Io Sky? What if they did in Io Sky, Io Sky, Kairi Sane, tag team match? I mean, it doesn't work right now for storyline purposes, but I'm just saying logistically, they both give the similar energy. So why not that? But I stick with what I'm saying. I feel like Asuka needs to do a singles push. All right, talked about Uncle Howdy. Okay. Bro, why is SmackDown going back to 3 hours? They can barely do 2 hours. Barely. They can barely do 2 hours, and that's only if Uncle Howdy talks real slow. I mean, stop playing with me. Bro. Almost every Thursday I fall asleep on SmackDown. There are parts that I like. I'm a Roman Reigns fan. When Roman Reigns is talking his Roman Reigns, I like that. Everything else is trash. Trash. I heard somewhere, probably WrestleMania, they do good breakdowns on shows every time a show comes out. So they're also on YouTube. So if you get an opportunity to check them out, also check them out. But I may have heard from them, or I may have seen it somewhere else. I don't remember. But, bro, why are they doing that? Why? 3 hours? 3 hours? What are you going to do with the 3 hours? What? You've already proven you cannot do storyline. You don't do storylines very well. Like, once you got away from the bloodline, and I mean the main cast of characters. I mean, Solo before the MFTs. I mean, that to me was cinematic genius. Now, it's kind of something that's a little bit worn out its welcome. I mean, I'm not excited when I see a Tongaloa. Like, to me, it's like, okay, now, during that match, it's time to use the bathroom. I mean, scheduled bathroom break matches. That's kind of, and also, DIY. I'm tired of seeing them on Thursdays, too. It just seems like you reuse the same, it's like the same group of people, the same storylines. You know, you're gonna see DIY on a Thursday. You're gonna see the Kabuki Warriors on a Thursday. And the thing is, the WWE roster is huge. Why? Why are we seeing them every week? Why? Put something up there. Something different. Please. I love wrestling. But if you've seen one Kabuki Warrior match, damn it, you've seen them all. You've seen them all. I mean, I really feel like that. Now, tag teams that I do like that are currently on SmackDown that are fairly new. Now, let me start out by saying, number one, I am not a Nia Jax fan. There was controversy before she got let go the first time about her injuring people and not being able to wrestle. I want to be clear, like, that is still obvious on the TV. The way she wrestles, like, very awkwardly. It's so obvious. Personality-wise, though, I like her with Lash Legend. I think Lash Legend is good on SmackDown. I like her. I like her, you know, her little bit of my skills I've heard so far. I mean, I think she's a better wrestler overall than Nia, easily. So I'm hoping that Lash Legends can teach Nia some things. I mean, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Maxxine Dupri. I am very proud of Maxxine Dupri because unlike Nia Jax, who you can tell is sluggish and can't wrestle, you can tell that Maxxine Dupri is learning. You know, she's learning and growing. And I appreciate that. Every time she comes out for a match, she does something different. She expands her, you know, her skill set. I appreciate that. You know, I always cheer for an underdog, and I'm always going to cheer for Maxxine Dupri. You know, I love that she's champion at the moment. I love how proud she is. I love that when she comes out, you can tell that she's beaming because she comes across, but just like I said in episode 3 about Javon Evans, Maxxine Dupri, to me, comes across like a fan. It's like, I'm a huge WWE fan. It's like if I, as a fan, won a title. How happy I would be to come out to my own music and wrestle. That's the feel that I get from Maxxine Dupri. And I kind of, when she wrestles, her and Javon Evans, I kind of live vicariously through them because it's like stirring up that, you know, anything is possible vibe, which I appreciate. I appreciate WWE's pivot because they were making her look so like so pitiful before that, but now I can see like the progression of the character. So I appreciate that. I just couldn't see, like, based on past performance, I couldn't see how the storyline started out for it to be where it's at right now. I didn't see that. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the growth of the character. I appreciate all that stuff, bro. Okay. I did enjoy the Drew and Cody video. You know, the security camera footage, all that stuff. I did enjoy. I still can't get excited for the match, but I enjoyed the build-up. I really enjoyed the build-up. It's very very innovative. So I did appreciate that. Now I want to talk about some other stuff. Okay, so yeah, if you watched episode 3, like I said, I love the TV. But after I did that, I started to like really monitor what it is that I'm actually watching. And the thing is, I watch streaming services more than I do like the regular TV. Like, I still think of like TV as like DirecTV, you know, that kind of stuff. But I'm never on that stuff. I'm only on like the streaming services. So in my mind, YouTube killed television. A lot of people say Netflix, but I really think it's YouTube. Because when I go on YouTube, like, I can go on YouTube all day and never like watch a regular show. Literally, the only time I'm watching like regular anything on a regular station, it's, you know, wrestling. And now Raw is on Netflix, so now I'm watching, you know, regular TV even less than before. But I can turn on YouTube and be on YouTube all day long. Like, I look at Academics, Trap Lord Ross, 1090 Jake, Candace Owens, Didi Got a Podcast, like, and they produce every day. So I don't have to turn on like regular episodes or anything like that. So I mean, internet is king. As long as you have internet, you literally have everything else. Isn't that crazy? You know, I just thought about that. Speaking of crazy stuff, I don't remember where this conversation was, but it's talking about the loss of history. I want to say it is what it is, just because like they touched on a similar topic, but like this reminds me of a time when I had a coworker ask me, you know, how my vocabulary, you know, how I grew my vocabulary. And, you know, my response, like, Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes. Yo, back in the day, Bugs Bunny used to use the big words. They used to use the big words. I've always been the type of kid, like, if I heard a word that I never used before, that I never heard before, I'm going to look up that word or ask the person what that word means, and then, like, try to use it in a sentence or try to put it in a conversation. I try to do, you know, I used to try to do that when I was younger. Like, I appreciated that. A lot of those words, like, I would literally get from Bugs Bunny. Like, Bugs Bunny back in the day, he used to use those big words. He used to use those big words. And, like, I would clock them every time. And so I bring that up to talk about, like, the loss of history. Either people aren't learning history, or factual information isn't leaked out the way that it used to be. For example, like, you know, the cartoon thing that I just mentioned, like, they don't really have that anymore. So there's not, like, sneakily kids learning these big words in a way that comes across to them. Unless it's a show where that's, like, you know that it's going to do that. Like, if it's, like, an educational show, you know it's going to do that, right? But not every kid is purposefully watching these educational shows. That's what I'm saying is the thing about Looney Tunes. Because you would watch Looney Tunes because it's a regular cartoon. They just happen to throw those big words in there, and you would learn as a byproduct of watching the show. Like, it wasn't their main thing to teach you. You just got taught while you were watching it. Like, I mean, and you got taught, and it wasn't like any kind of propaganda. It was teaching you big words. It was teaching you things like that. It wasn't teaching you any controversial stance or anything like that. We don't have that. We don't have that anymore. So I feel like the new generation that's coming up, they're a lot less smart when it comes to certain things. But of course, I could say the same thing about me. I'm older, so there's, younger people are a lot smarter than me when it comes to when it comes to, certain things as well. But I feel like there are things where that you should know universally. Like, you should know, like, who the standard bearers of history are. Like, if I say Albert Einstein, you should know in general, like, okay, he was an inventor. He did this and that. You don't have to know his whole story, but if I say, like, Albert Einstein, you should be able to say, oh, he did X, Y, Z. And there's not that. And it's a little shocking. It's a little shocking. Here's the point that I wanted to make. Cam and Mace, I watch It Is What It Is. Cam and Mace were talking about the passage of time. They were talking about how, they kind of know all the old rappers, but Stat Baby, who's significantly younger, wouldn't know them. And the point is not to get mad at them because, 20 years ago for them was like 90. Like if you start talking about these older rappers, you start talking about, like, okay, you start talking about early 2000s rappers like a Nelly, and like, it starts getting fuzzy. It starts getting fuzzy. I mean, because those kids, now we're getting a generation past that. So they may not know who a Nelly is, or they may not know a Ja Rule, or if they do know them, they know them from social media, like the memes, like people know Ja Rule because 50 Cent is still relevant. Instead of them knowing Ja Rule's music, they know Ja Rule as it relates to 50 Cent. And that's really hard to come to terms with for an older person, because then it's like you start you realize how history repeats itself. Basically, history repeats itself because the original history is forgotten. So then it seems like you're going through something new, but nothing new is under the sun, right? The old history has just been forgotten, so there's nothing to cue you into, okay, we're going back through the same thing over again, right? You know, it's just I just so easily went down this rabbit hole while I'm trying to get the studio and stuff together. 3 days have gone by. You know how you can get in a YouTube rabbit hole and then all of a sudden, like, all this time is missing? That's what happened. And I kept saying to myself, bro, I have to do an episode. I have to get with my people. I have to see what my friends are doing. Now all is right with the world, bro. All is right with the world. The studio is set up. Everything is good to go. I will be posting more and more. I'm gonna try to do I'm gonna try to do more than once a day. I can't promise, but I'm gonna really try to do every other day or every day, depending on what happens. You know, right now it's the holiday season, so nothing really is going down. Oh, this is a note that I wrote. Okay, so everybody's talking about Y2J, Chris Jericho, coming back to WWE for his last run. Look, I knew that once Cena retired, it was going to start a rash of retirements. Like, I knew it. I knew it. And then I also knew that the way that they allowed John Cena to go out on his final run and stuff like that, that's going to entice people to come back to WWE. And lo and behold, here is Chris Jericho. Like, and if you don't watch AEW, like, you haven't thought about Chris Jericho since Y2J. So, but, you know, I'm getting the impression that Chris Jericho wants to come for one last run. Very John Cena-esque, right? But remember what I said. Remember what I said. Like, we're talking about, like, Y2J. Y2J was before Cena, right? So, what fans do you think Y2J appeals to? You're talking like Y2J was, I believe Y2J was Attitude Era. So you're talking, so he was like Stone Cold, The Rock. That era was Chris Jericho. Like, that was the era directly before John Cena. And like, the people who are in their 20s and early 30s, they grew up on John Cena. Some of them may know Chris Jericho, but I can almost guarantee that a large majority of them would not. That doesn't mean that Chris Jericho doesn't deserve to do a final run. It doesn't mean anything. But I'm just saying, in relation to the way that time works, I thought that was very interesting. Anyway, friend, that's it for me. Until next time. Bye, everybody.